cloud. You'll get that funny little bump up there. So let me pull up my, let's see, I have to remember how to do this. Share screen. Here, share. And then, okay, now I just have to remember how to, sorry, I had it already and I realized I don't have it on like present. Where's present? Draw. That's not it. Okay, hold on a sec. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Anybody remember how to turn on slideshow? There we go. Jeez. All right. Now I should have it. Sorry about that, folks. Okay. It's still not showing at all. Oh, well, that's all right. Let's see.
We see foundations, Heather.
Okay, do you see just the whole big screen or is it?
Big screen.
Oh, okay, good. So it is the right thing. Never mind. Okay, great. Well, I thank you all for coming. So we are starting a 6 weeks course called Foundations, where I'm really going to take you from A to Z, hit on everything that you need to do to set up your business. I am not going to say that I'm going to cover everything you need to know because I'm still learning something every day. There is so much information in real estate to learn, but this Foundations course is really set up to get you the main points you need to know. Take notes of anything that you think, oh, that's very interesting, and you want to dive in more. And then I do classes along the way, more in depth on all these subjects. So this is really getting you that, like, okay, here's your foundation, all the things you need to know, and then you need to dive in more from there. So it's 6 weeks. It's going to be every Monday from 12 to 1:30 for 6 weeks. And it's going to be all virtual this time, but it will be in the YouTube channel afterwards recorded. So you can go back and learn what you need to. All right. It didn't go to the next one. Start slideshow. Okay, is it still on the Foundations one?
Yes, it is.
You would think I know how to do this. I've only done it a million times. It's not letting me advance. What the heck? Maybe I hit this. Ah, there we go. All right, now I remember. It's been a while. Okay, so today we are going to cover kind of what I think of as the two things you really need to do to start off your business. We are going to look at what the complete sales cycle is of real estate, from marketing and branding all the way through fulfillment and staying connected with your clients. So today we're going to work on a couple pieces of that. We're going to work on your branding. So you are your brand, and we'll dive into that a little bit. And then we'll talk about coming up with your ideal client, the person that you are trying to reach to let them know you're in business so they call and hire you. Then we're going to talk about how to develop your Sphere connection plan, which I think is one of the most important things that you have in your real estate business. And then we're going to talk about other spokes of business. That's what I call it. And I'll explain that in a little bit. So those are the 5 things we're going to cover today. And then in future classes, we're going to dive into working with buyers, working with sellers, setting goals, all the different pieces. I guess I could have brought that up today, but I didn't do a slide on that. But that is, let's see, well, next week is goal setting and the 12-week year and the 168-hour week. And then after that, it will be working with doing CMAs, so pricing and figuring out market analysis. Then it'll be buyers, then it'll be sellers, and then kind of a wrap-up class. So hopefully we will cover most everything that you need. If you haven't already, I highly recommend taking the Grow class through the greenhouse. It is a really great class to help you with some of those soft skills about like working with people, talking, representing yourself in a great way, different ways to approach people in the different streams of business or spokes of business. So that's a really great class if you haven't taken it or looked at it already. It comes up every few weeks and it's about 4 weeks long as well, 3 times a week, but it's really motivated and it keeps you really accountable for the things, gives you like action items every day and things to do to get your business set up. All right. So when you are working with in real estate and in any sales, really, there is this complete sales cycle that you need to make sure you are hitting all pieces of this so that you are most effective and efficient with the people that you're working with. If you leave any of these out, that's where the business kind of falls apart, right? So the very first thing that we're going to be talking about this morning is your marketing, your branding, how you brand yourself, how you put yourself out into the world to make sure that everyone that should give you a call does, right? So they know who you are, they know what to expect, and you're representing yourself consistently out in the world on all your marketing efforts. The next piece is lead generation, right? So you have your market, your branding, and then you do specific things to generate leads or generate potential clients. Then from there, you need to go into nurturing those leads. That's where you have systems set up to make sure that all those names you got get followed up with, right? So your lead generation may be things like doing open houses, doing a geographic farm. You're getting named, it might be talking to someone in line at the grocery store. So in lead generation, you're gathering names together, and then lead nurture is how you follow up with them so that you don't forget about them and you are top of mind when they're ready to make a purchase or a sale, right? So that often will be automated emails going out. There's a whole variety of different things you can do with your lead nurture, but it's a really vital part of it. From there, then you go to conversion. So you're taking those leads that you've gotten and you need to convert them into clients. And how do you do that? There's a lot of different things, there's scripts, there's information that you can use to convert those leads. So you've got to nurture them and then you've actually got to turn them into a client. Those are really, really linked, but they are 2 different things. From then you have fulfillment. And that is once you've converted someone into a client, once you sign a listing agreement or you write an offer for them, the fulfillment is all the steps of A to Z from the signed contract to the close of escrow. All right. So it's tons of different steps in between and making sure that you're providing a high level of service so that your clients are satisfied at the end of their escrow. The last thing on this, although it's just a never-ending cycle, right? It is maintaining those connections. That is a big piece of what we're going to talk about today in your sphere of influence connection plan, as well as past clients, everyone that you want to stay connected with, not those original leads, but people that you know a little better, how you stay connected to them through, years and years past when you actually close a transaction. What are the things, all the different steps that you take so that you stay top of mind? You're more likely to get referrals. You have, rituals in place so that you make sure you're connecting with them, all of those pieces. And then that goes all the way back to your branding and your marketing, which needs to be consistent throughout, right? So it's got to keep going, essentially. Sometimes, someone will stay in lead nurture for a long time, or they'll stay in the connections for a long time. But even though they're in connections, they may give you a referral that then goes over. That is the lead generation piece, right? That person in your sphere of influence or a past client, that is also, you're generating leads from them that pop over into the lead generation, and then you nurture someone that they refer you to. Does that make sense? Is there any piece here that we need to add or that we could take out? What do you guys think? All right. Well, today we are mostly going to be talking about the marketing and branding, which needs to be threaded through everything that you do. And then we're going to be focusing on lead generation and the connections, the sphere of influence connection. So we're going to do those top three, because then they're going to help you move forward to your lead nurturing, conversion, and fulfillment. And those will be in later classes. All right. So it's not going forward. I don't know why it's not going forward now. Let's see, let me go back to current slide. Oh. Okay, so when you're thinking about how you're going to put yourself, you are your own business, you're your own brand, right? You are the product that you are marketing or selling to the public. Now, when you look at your county, I always like to think of this. There are a lot of people, there are tons and tons of people in the area that you live and you do business, right? In Sonoma County, there's almost 500,000 people. In Napa, there's 138,000. Mendocino, 87,000, Lake, 84,000, and in Humboldt, 135,000. Now, is there any way that we can reach with our marketing and our branding? Is there any way that we can reach all of those people? Absolutely not. And we wouldn't want to, right? We don't want to spend that much money. We don't want to have, I mean, that's a lot of people. And so what branding and marketing does is what branding mainly does is it really tries to narrow that amount of people down to people that are going to be the best people to work with you, right? The people you want to make sure that you are reaching with your branding, the people that are most likely to call you and ask you to do business with them, the people that you are going to resonate with, the people that are going to be a good fit for you to help them buy and sell real estate. Now, of course, we'll all work with anyone, right? We want to help people buy and sell real estate, but by branding, it narrows down the field. So we're most likely going to be speaking in a language that is going to speak to a certain demographic, right? A certain type of person that is going to most resonate with us and be most likely to give us a call. So the question is how do we reach the right people? How do we reach the right people? We do that by branding, and we're going to dive into that. What do we need to do to make sure that the people that are likely to hire us know that we're in real estate? So the first thing that we need to do is dive into who we are and what our brand is going to be. So we have a really fantastic Better Homes and Gardens Wine Country brand, right? It is, I think, one of the easiest brands to really get behind and create our own personal brand within, because Better Homes and Gardens is all about lifestyle. Wine Country Group, it's about lifestyle in the wine country, which most of us here are, that's where we're doing business, right? And so it's really easy to be a part of that. But within that, we also need to come up with our own individual brand. And so I encourage you, I do have a worksheet here. I can give you guys, I could give you a link right now, or I can give you a link after that you could print up so that you can do these steps. Because really a lot of this it's like worksheet stuff, right? You need to sit down and take a few minutes to think about, what is it? How do I want to represent myself? So when you're working on creating your brand, what I want you to do, let me see I'm going to try something because, oh no, it's not going to work. When you're creating your brand, I want you to think about, who are you? All right. What is important to you? What do you love to do? What are you passionate about? All right. Those are pieces of you and what if you can bring those out in your branding, it's going to make your branding that much more authentic, and it's going to help the right people find you, right? So if you are, you know, if you are a mom, right? That's a big one. If you love hiking, if you are an activist, a political activist, whatever it is about you that makes you a little unique, I really encourage you to bring that out in your branding. So if, you know, if you're super passionate about, you know, there's so many things. If you're passionate, maybe you were adopted or you were in the foster system. And so you're very passionate about helping like the Boys and Girls Club and, you know, foster children, whatever. That could be something in your brand. Now, a brand is your kind of overarching, right? I'm a very positive person. I like hiking. You know, there's certain things about me that I want to have included in my brand. Later on, then what you can do is you can focus on different niches or niches. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that. But where you take your brand and you apply it to a specific demographic, right? A niche, maybe first-time home buyers, maybe horse properties, maybe, you know, there's a million different ones, maybe veterans. There's so many different niches you can do. We'll talk more about that. But your brand is more about like your voice, your language, who you are. So, you know, things that you can do. Let me see if that's on my next one. As you're doing this, I encourage you to do what I call create a dump file, where you answer those questions we just talked about. And then as you're going, you find things like words, images, feelings, colors that fit within that brand identity. And you just start putting them in, you know, maybe open up a Google folder or, you know, something, you know, place on your computer or your phone where when you see an image that resonates with you, put it in there, right? So when I first got into real estate, I'm super into the outdoors. I'm into hiking. Pretty much anything outdoor related, I love. And so as I was developing my brand identity, I found words really resonated with me and images of being in the outdoors. I really found, you know, because I love hiking, so I used a lot of imagery like being on a path, that it being a journey, those sort of things. You can also take words, once you find a word or two, you can put it in a synonym dictionary and it'll help you find a whole bunch more related words, right? So start amassing those and go back periodically and look at it and delete out ones you don't like, add in ones you like, until you get a nice, robust brand for yourself, and then use that in all of your marketing. So when you're writing your bio, when you are you know, creating your website, when you're anything, if you're going to do postcards, when you get photos taken, make sure that imagery is consistent with the with your brand, with what you want to represent, right? So for me, I'm very nature, so I would not use like bright neon colors. They just don't resonate with me, right? Whereas someone else might, you know, maybe they're a veteran, and so they would maybe use a lot of kind of the, you know, like the military colors, right? The dark greens and dark browns. You don't have to put a symbol of that brand, you know, of that whatever it is that you are resonating with. You don't have to put a specific symbol, but utilize it to create the brands, and then everything can be consistent with that. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions or comments about that or ideas? Gosh, it's only 12:30. Okay, good. All right. Another thing, that the last one that's listed here is that when you're creating your brand identity, think of organizations possibly that would be a good fit with your brand. So for instance, you know, if you're a veteran and that's a part of who you are and you want to have that be a part of, you, or maybe you're a mom, or you are whatever it is, you're super into gardening, I don't know, whatever it is, think of organizations that kind of fit with that maybe down the road you could get involved in, you know, do some volunteering, contributing, those sort of things, or be connected with, so that you have, that's a great outlet for, you know, one of your streams of business. I'm very actively involved in an organization that protects outdoor areas, and I volunteered with them for years. Now, I didn't start doing it until I was in real estate. I didn't have time, right? But now I say, hey, this is part of my job, being involved in organizations that I'm passionate about. And so I think I've done 6 transactions from this organization that I've been involved in for, you know, 7 years. So it's a great way to give back to your community in a way that is that fits well with your brand, right? It fits who you are anyways. So it's a great thing to do. Okay. I am realizing that I can't see the chat right now, and I can't see hands. So if you have something that you want to throw out there, please just unmute yourself and just, oh, excuse me, I have a question. Just let me know. I don't know why I'm not able to, yeah, I can't see. So, okay. So what I really encourage you to do, if you're watching this as a recorded video, please pause right now and give 10 minutes and actually work on your branding. What are some things about you that make up who you are that you can use in your branding? And go to a synonym dictionary, write down words that really resonate with you, images, colors, those sort of things. Start creating that brand identity. I've used basically the same brand identity. I've just expanded on it over the years and shifted it a little bit, but it still really resonates with me. And that's what you want to find, because then all of your marketing materials can be consistent. And that's the important thing, right? If they look super different every time, then people are not going to realize that you are the same person every time that's putting that out there. So, I mean, I even encourage using the same font, using, picking your 3 or 4 fonts that you really like to use. Unfortunately, you won't be able to do it in every single marketing piece, because some places they don't have all the same fonts, but it is nice to have that be consistent as much as possible. Okay, then what I want you to do is you want to spend some time creating your ideal client. All right, think about who it is that you are most likely going and would like to work with. All right, so we talked about, the question was, how do I reach the people that are most likely to hire me, right? That's not exactly what I said, but that's basically it. And the way you do that is you identify who that person is, who that most likely client is, or your most desired client, so that you can tailor everything you say and all your branding and your marketing to a specific person, right? If you're just, you don't want your marketing to be generic, that it would fit for anyone, because then it doesn't really reach anyone. It just kind of scattershot out there. You know, it's great. That's kind of, the way I look at it is, that's the Better Homes and Gardens marketing, right? That is, it's good for everyone. So we already have that covered. So what you want to do is narrow down your focus to a specific client, so that you can talk specifically to a certain person. You can solve their problems, and they're going to be likely to hire you. So your ideal client avatar, it's a detailed description of the person you want to do business with. It will provide valuable insight into who they are, what they want, where they spend their time, and how your offerings can address their problems. Building out your customer avatar and putting it to good use can help you make the most of your marketing effort and dollars. Now, we'll go back to, people always say, but I want to work with anyone, right? I'm happy to help anyone. Absolutely. This does not stop you from doing that. It just simply gives you a focus of your marketing, so you're most likely to speak to the right people. Now, we're going to talk, like I said, we're going to talk more about creating different niches or niches. And you might have 2 or 3 niches. If you do, I recommend doing an ideal client avatar for each of those niches or niches. I should just not say that word. Because if you are going to go after a geographic farm and you are going to go spend time trying to, do maybe, let's say your high school graduating class, right? Those are 2 very different ideal clients. And so it is good to do this for each niche that you work with. But today, I encourage you to just come up with one, all right? Do an ideal client avatar, spend the time, take the time to write down this. And I've got, like I said, in my worksheet, I'll send you guys, it's got some questions to answer. But at the most basic level, developing a client avatar will help you become more effective in your messaging, and it'll help you cut through the noise in today's marketing landscape. Using it in combination with a full marketing and connection plan is your surefire way to explode your business growth. Again, the more specific you are, the more people are going to listen and call you, right? So if you see, you see those ads on Facebook all the time, right? And you barely notice any of, right? You scroll. If you guys go on Facebook, you scroll. And then one day someone says, I mean, this is what popped out to me the other day. Someone on one of those ads said, have you been bothered by your belly fat? I mean, yeah, right? But I was like, I stopped the scroll because that was speaking to me very directly. Or the other one that I've heard lately is, are you worried about what you're feeding your dog? Right? Because my dogs haven't been eating great. So by being really specific, they got me to stop the scroll, right? Whereas all the other ones about a million other things that go by, I haven't even slowed down to look at. But those 2 got me just to slow down, take 3 to 5 seconds and actually listen and see if it actually made any sense to me, right? So that's why you want to be more specific, because people are bombarded with marketing, advertising, so much information, it's overwhelming, right? And so if you get narrowed down so that you say the thing that really gets them to open their ears and go, oh, I am a veteran, and no, I didn't think I would ever be able to buy in Sonoma County, right? If you've just done something that said, hey, are you a veteran and think you can't ever buy in Sonoma County? That's gonna, they're really gonna catch that, as opposed to, oh, do you want to buy a house in Sonoma County? Do you see the difference? So that's why we do our ideal client avatar. Now, things you want to consider when you're looking at creating your ideal client is, when I really like to think of, who do you want to work with, right? I want to work with people like me that are positive, that have a good outlook. That's a big thing for me, that aren't stress mongers. But there's a lot of other things to consider as well. So when you're writing up your ideal client, again, this is not saying you won't work with other people, but this is so that you create a language in your marketing so the right people hear you. So you want to look at their demographic traits. Who do you want to work with? What's their age, their education, their income? Now, you don't have to include all of these, right? First-time home buyers, for instance, that can be a wide range of ages. It could be a wide range of incomes, but maybe you want to really focus on like newly married first-time home buyers, right? They're in their 20 to 30-year-old range. I don't know what it is exactly, but dial that down as much as you can. So you might look at family size, occupation, right? Some people, they do like a hero program where they really go after, they're trying to get seen by, first responders, say something like that. So occupation, maybe hey, I want to work with doctors. Maybe you're going to advertise at golf clubs, something like that. doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter what their occupation is, so like first time home buyers, probably doesn't matter. But if it does, then drill it down as much as you can. So other demographic possibilities are religion and neighborhood location, right? You might be doing a geographic farm and you really are like, hey, I want to look for, I'm going to try to reach all the renters to be first-time home buyers in this neighborhood. All right. So that ideal client is currently a renter. Their income is, they've got to make enough to be able to buy a house. They're probably a little younger, what have you. There's also the psychographic traits. I'm not sure if I said that right. You want to consider what types of values do they have, attitudes, interests, and lifestyles. So I think interests and lifestyles are a big one here for your ideal client. I also like to go with values and attitudes because I like working with people like me. But interests, that might be, someone that's into gardening, someone that's into cooking. It could be a variety of things, and same with lifestyle. So interest and lifestyle, there is a big market in this area for horse properties, right? So people that are equestrians, that's both an interest and or a lifestyle. There's trying to think of another quick example here. There's this is just more of a little brand, but I think his name's Paul Heck. He's an agent that's been doing real estate in Sonoma County for years, and he's a pilot. So his brand, his ideal client is people that are interested in planes, right? He actually takes them up and takes them on, like he does lots of big properties. So he'll take them on a plane ride over the property. Every piece of branding he has planes, imagery, all that in it. So again, interest and lifestyle. What is that ideal client? What do they like to do with their time? All right, there's a really good article about developing this down at the bottom there if you're interested in reading more, and I will send you the worksheet that I have created as well. Any questions about your ideal client? Creating that. Oh, all right. Okay, let's go to the next one. So again, if you are online or if you are listening to this recorded, pause the recording right now. Take 15 minutes. If you're here live, please, after this class, take 15 minutes and work out your ideal client avatar. It's not going to be done in 10 minutes, but you're going to get a little foundation built for that so that you can work on that in your marketing. Again, both your branding and your ideal client, these are, the more you have them created, the more that when you talk to people and when you create marketing materials, it's going to run through there. It's going to be consistent and it's going to help the right people find you. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to like a group where you get to stand up, like a leads group, you get to stand up and introduce yourself in like a 30-second little introduction. Hi, I'm Heather Thurber with Better Homes and Gardens Wine Country Group. And then you get a little, or like your elevator pitch, you can do that in groups or even in an elevator. But that, the more you have worked out your ideal client and your brand, then the language there even is going to resonate with all of it. It's going to be consistent and it's going to portray you in the way you want to be portrayed. All right. I love this quote. This is from Melissa Bolton. She calls herself a brand therapist, but she says, you can say all the right things for all the right reasons, but if you say them to the wrong person, it will never matter, right? So if you post something on Facebook about VA loans, but you don't know veterans are listening to it, you're saying it to the wrong person. And so it really matters what your ideal client is. It helps you determine where to put your energy, your focus, and your time and your money on your marketing so that the right people hear you. All right. All right, so we are going to go into now, any questions before I move on? I'm talking a lot today. Okay, so we're going to go into developing your sphere of influence connection plan. Now, I like to look at this symbol on the front or on the slide here. And what I want you to think about is a wheel and the different spokes on a wheel, right? If you have a wheel and it has 3 spokes, and each of those spokes are a different stream of business. If you just have the 3 spokes, you have a nice solid wheel, right? So you need different streams of business. You need at least 3, I recommend, so that you have a nice solid foundation of your wheel so that your business is flowing, right? You constantly have people in your pipeline. Now, if one of those spokes breaks, then with 3 spokes, it's a little challenging, right? All of a sudden, the wheel's not going to really work. Of course, you'll still be getting business from the other 2 spokes, but if one stops flowing, then you would have to add another. So I do encourage you over time that you want to build out a couple of more spokes. 4 or 5 spokes or streams of business, I think, is optimal. But I want you to start with 1, really build it out so you have it well developed, you have it automated as much as possible, and you have it being productive, and then add another spoke. So you can be working on 2, maybe 3 at first, and then you want to add a 4th and a 5th. So today we're mostly going to talk about, we're going to talk about the sphere of influence or circle of influence connection plan. Every single real estate agent should use their sphere of influence. Those are every person that you know. Okay, your sphere of influence or your circle of influence is every person that you know, whether or not they would hire you or might hire you for real estate. Now, probably you don't need to include people out of the area, but you can. I actually do, because I do get some referrals from people that I know out of the area, especially if they've ever lived in my area. So your sphere of influence, you want to start, if you haven't already, start writing down a list of every person you know. There is a really great brainstorming sheet I have. I didn't think to put that on there. That's something I should do to help you come up with your sphere of influence list. And it's really great because it's just kind of, it's like a mind, it just like tries to help you think of things. I can't think of the word, but it's got a list like your doctor, your dentist, your tax account, right? Those are all people that are in your sphere of influence. Now you have to determine if it's worth spending your marketing time and energy on them or not. But you know, like I use the doctor and a dentist as an example. I send our Better Homes and Gardens magazine to my dentist office, and he leaves it out on the table, you know, in the waiting area. And so you never know, somebody might give me a call from that. I don't know, never happened yet, but could. So anyways, spend some time working up your sphere of influence, and then let's talk about how you are going to reach out to them. How are you going to stay connected with your sphere of influence? I like to think of developing a sphere of influence connection plan as being 3 main parts. All right. The 3 main parts that I use are, and that I think you can boil most everything down into these 3 components. 1 is digital, 1 is tangible, and 1 are events, which I guess could go intangible as well. So what I mean by this is, how are you going to stay in regular connection with your sphere of influence? Now we're going to take the branding that we've done, create marketing pieces, right? And we're going to send those out, or we're going to get those regularly into our sphere of influences world. And we can do that digitally, right? We could send out newsletters, could send out email holiday cards. We're going to go over a bunch of more ideas in a minute. But digital is one of the main ways that we're going to stay. Now, this can also obviously be used in your lead nurture, right? When you go back to that sales cycle, you can use a similar like email drip campaign for your lead nurture and your sphere of influence. Then you have tangible. Tangible is things like a phone call, or it's mailing them a postcard, dropping off a pop by, which we'll talk about a little more in a minute. And then the third thing is events. Let me just pop forward to, okay. An event, we're going to talk more about all these, but events are, we're not going to dive too much into that today, but events are a really, really great way to stay connected to your sphere. So we'll go into that more in a minute. As you're developing your connection plan, there are 4 main things you need to do for it to really be successful. The most important thing, number 1, is that you are consistent, okay? It is crazy the number of people who have not stayed consistent with certain people in their sphere, and they find out later that those people have used a different agent. And so your consistency is so important. Whatever you decide that you're going to do with your sphere, you want to make sure you do it every time. All right. Maybe it's you're going to send out an email once a month. You need to do it once a month. Maybe you're going to send a physical newsletter quarterly. You need to do it quarterly, right? The consistency is the most important thing. It has been said that it takes people 8 times to see a marketing piece before they remember they've seen it, before they react to it. And so that consistency is super important. Also, the next important thing is longevity. Don't start doing something unless you are committed to doing it for at least a year. Again, also in marketing, not only 8 times, but it often takes people a year of seeing something before they react to it or they make a move on that marketing piece. I have the perfect example of that. When I first started, I did a farm and I sent out postcards every month, every stinking month. And I got not a single phone call. I sent out, it was either my 11th or 12th one. I think it was my 11th one. And I said to myself, this isn't working. Okay. It had been 11 months. I said, it's not working. Why am I doing this? I'm spending money, I'm spending time. I said, if I don't get anything from this one, I'm not gonna do any more. I got 2 calls from that time. And those people said they had seen my postcards all this time and they were finally ready to sell. They were both listings too. So it takes a while. When someone is ready to buy or sell, they have already been researching it for typically at least 6 weeks. So if they're ready to sell and today they see your marketing piece, right? It's actually too late. They're going to be more likely to talk to an agent that they have been seeing consistently over time, at least 6 weeks or more longer ago. It's less likely that you're going to get someone to hire you that is ready right now, right? It's much more likely that it's going to be someone that's been seeing you for a while. Now, because you need to be consistent and you need to do this over the long haul, please create as much as you can, create systems and do as much as you can that's automated. All right. We'll talk more about some ideas for that. But if you say that you're going to send out a newsletter quarterly, how can you create a system so that that actually happens? Maybe it's You know, week 1, you write an article. Week 2, you set up the calendar. Week 3, whatever it is. Week 4, you send it to the printer. I don't know. I don't send out newsletters, but whatever it is that you're going to do, what is your system so that you make sure it happens as much as possible? And then I encourage you to have some of the pieces of your connection plan to be fully automated. So there's some really great resources out there for that. And we'll talk about those a little bit. All right, it's 12:55. Okay, so in developing your sphere connection plan, I think it's a great idea to connect with your sphere 2 to 3 times a month. Now, you know, Keller Williams, what's his name? Gary Keller, he suggests like 13 times a month. You know, so there's a real variety of what's recommended, and you have to find what works for you. 1, what you'll do, right? And 2, think about anytime you're creating something, marketing, anything to reach out to other people, think about how you would receive it. So if someone sent you this marketing piece, or if someone reached out to you 13 times in a month, how would you feel? Would you be like, oh, this is awesome, I love it that this person is an agent, I would definitely hire them? Or would you be like, oh my God, this is over, you know, whatever your reaction would be, think about that, because that, I suggest, again, being authentic with yourself, creating only marketing pieces and systems that you would resonate with you, that you would receive well. So that's always my judge for myself. So anyways, 2 to 3 connections a month. You can do many more. I wouldn't suggest less than 1 a month, because you want to be top of mind, right? You want your, you know, your friend from high school that's on your sphere, in your sphere, you want, when they go to the grocery store and someone's talking about real estate, that they think of you, right? So that maybe they're not going to buy or sell, but when they're talking to someone about real estate and they say, oh, I'm thinking about selling my house, hey, maybe they'll mention your name. So 2 to 3 connections a month. I suggest having 1 to 2 of those be digital, 1 to 2 of those be tangible. That way you're getting, either they're getting a phone call from you, they're receiving something in the mail, you're dropping something off, something tangible, as well as maybe a couple of online, you know, digital connections. Yeah. Now, the third thing that I highly recommend you think about doing is doing an event once or twice a year. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have. Let me tell you why events are so fantastic. First, the money. You don't have to do it all yourself, all right? Invite someone to sponsor or do the event with you, all right? There may be a lender or 2 that would love to meet all of your sphere of influence. Invite them to contribute money, help you organize, whatever it would be. There's other vendors out there, right? Plumbers. I have a friend that sells Rodan and Fields face cream, or face, you know, the obviously I don't know that much about the skincare products, right? She donates, when I do an event, she donates a prize. So we do a drawing, and one of her, she does like the sunless tan cream. And so she's able to get people know about her business, and it's helping promote my event, and it's also making the cost less, right? I don't have to go out and buy if I want to do a drawing, I don't have to go out and buy something. So find sponsors, find people that are going to work with you. There's tons of people that are trying to increase their businesses as well and would be happy to work with you. Number 2 is, when you're at the event, most of the people there know you. And a lot of the people there are going to sit there and talk about how great you are, right? If they're your past clients, they're going to, oh, how do you know? How do you know PJ? How do you know Kathleen? And they'll say, oh, she did this, you know, oh, she helped me get my home, whatever it is. They talk about you. You're kind of the focus. And some people don't like that, but I don't know, get over it, right? You are doing this to give back to your clients and to help them remember that you're in real estate. So it's totally worth doing. Now, number 3 is the best thing of all, is whether or not people actually come to your event, it gives you at least 5 excuses to reach out to them and remind them that you're in real estate. Now, how does that work? 1, you can call some of the people in your sphere and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this client event. And do you think it'd be more popular to do a movie night or a barbecue, right? Or, oh, do you think a Friday or a Sunday would be better? Whatever. You can ask questions and get people on your team. That's super cool. That's going to be a little narrow group, right? But still, you can do that. Then you can send out a email, save the date. Hey, I'm going to do this great event. You know, I'm going to do it on the 5th. More details to come. Put it on your calendar. All right. And then you send out, this is number 3. You send out an actual invitation. Send it to everyone in your sphere, right? The first time I did an event, I did a Thanks a Latte event. And I just set up with a locally owned coffee shop. I invited that I would just buy everyone that was in my group, I'd buy them a nice coffee drink, you know, whatever they wanted. I just had it for like 2 hours, 9 to 11, and come by this coffee shop and I'm going to get you a coffee drink. I had a few little, you know, they cut up muffins and quarters and everything, and I had some drawings. It was super fun. It was so easy. It didn't cost me a lot, and people really appreciated it. So I just sent out, an invitation to every single person in my sphere. Not people out of the area that couldn't come, but people in the area that might actually be able to come. I sent out invitations. Then you can call them and say, hey, I just want to make sure you got my invitation. Would love to see you, right? Then you can send an email reminder. Hey, this is, you know, oh, don't forget, day after tomorrow is my event. And then you have the event. After the event, everyone that came, you can send or call and thank them for coming. Everyone that didn't come, you can call or send them an email or a card. Oh, I'm so sorry you missed it. Hope you can come next time. Maybe even put their name in the drawing or something. So an event is a great excuse to contact people a whole bunch of times and make sure that they know you're thinking about them, right? The more we give to people, the more we that we contribute to their lives, the more they're going to think of us when they think of real estate. I know, hopefully you guys have seen Roger Savvy before. He talks a lot about that. What's it called? It's where when you give something to someone, it's reciprocity, right? Where they feel like they should reciprocate and give you something. So the more you're giving people, and you know, don't do it to be about your business so much, really be contributing to people's lives, and they're going to be, oh, we want to help her out, and they're going to think of you when someone asks about real estate. So that's what I have to say about these events. I love events. It's hard to get them on my calendar. You know, I totally understand, but there is so many good benefits to them. I mean, you can even just do a potluck, right? People love to cook and bring food and share it. You know, maybe get the beer or the you know, I'll grill up the meat, whatever. Anyways, we'll talk more about those. Okay. How you guys doing? Everybody there and okay? I can't even see anybody. It's so weird. Let me see if I can increase it. Probably you guys probably all have your screens off. Okay, so when we're talking about digital, there is an email newsletter. The neighborhood news is in the Moxie suite. It's in Moxie Engage, and that you can have your sphere of influence or anybody set up. I think it's a weekly email, which I think is a little much, but maybe it's only a couple times a month. But it gives them, it's based on their zip code. It sends them an email with all the homes that are for sale in their neighborhood or their zip code. So that's and that's a nice automated one, right? Holiday cards. So you can set up also in Moxie Engage, and most CRMs have something where you can automatically send a holiday email to all your contacts. So that's a nice automated thing. Social media. boy, we could spend 2 days talking about social media. If you're going to use social media for your digital connection, part of your digital connection plan, there's a few things. Trying to see how we are on time. We're good. There's a few different things that you want to consider. Social media, you can do advertising. You can also do posting, obviously, but if you're going to be using social media as part of your connection plan, I encourage you to do a couple of things. One is go on regularly and comment on people's posts. All right. So commenting is a lot more powerful than liking or, thumbing up and all that. People see the comments and really notice that you take the time to do that. So if you're going to use that as part of your plan, I really encourage you to do comments on their posts. Another thing you can use social media for is you can use social media to get information that you then utilize in your tangible outreach. So for instance, you can go onto, for instance, Facebook, you can go onto Facebook and you can see all the people that you're connected to on Facebook when their birthdays are. So you can go in every week or every 2 weeks and see all the upcoming birthdays and send out birthday cards. You can also do things that people outside of social media that you can comment on what they have going on in their lives. So, I saw one of my past clients was pregnant with twins. And so I went on and found that she had a meal train set up, right? And so I went and I wouldn't have known, we're not like best buddies. She hadn't told me she was having twins, but I saw she was. I was so excited for her. So I went and I found that she had a meal train. And so I actually took them a dinner, right? Or you could just simply say, maybe somebody got married. You can text them, hey, congratulations, I saw that you got married. I'm so excited for you, blah, blah, blah. When you take that information off social media and put it into a more tangible form, a text, a phone call, send them something, send them a card, something, it really will strike up, it'll stand out to them. I've had people before where they said something on social media and I saw an article that was related to that. I actually printed up the article and I mailed it to them and said, hey, I thought you might find this interesting. I know you're struggling with whatever. The more care we give to people, the more they're going to remember it, right? I used to be part of an organization and their motto was, or maybe one of the people's motto in it was, people don't care who you are until they know, the last part of it was until they know how much you care. So they don't care about who you are until they know how much you care, something like that. And it was really about that once people know that you care, right, they're going to pay a lot more attention to who you are, what you're doing. Okay, let's see. Okay, I only got partway down. Okay. HomeBot. HomeBot is a super cool, it is a subscription. I think it's $25 or $30 a month, but it sends a digest to any of your clients that you sign up for it that are homeowners that gives them, it kind of turns you into Zillow. So it sends them a daily digest about their home. It gives them an estimated home value. It talks about, how much equity they potentially have in their home, what they could do with their equity. Could they take that equity and buy a second home or a rental, how much they might make out of it. It even has calculators in there about if they wanted to rent out one of the rooms in their house or if they wanted to rent their entire house. And the coolest thing about it is that they can go in and make changes. So I just had a client who went in and changed what their loan balance was. They paid more off on their loan. And so now their loan balance is lower than what it had estimated. And so now they see they have more equity, they have more buying power. They're looking at buying an investment property now. So HomeBot's pretty cool. If you're interested in it, I could send you a link. I have every past client that's bought a home signed up on it, and all my sphere that I know owns a home, they're all on, or I offer it to all of them, and a ton of them use it regularly. All right. Okay, so then there's the tangible piece. So I suggest you find 2 or 3 regular things that you're going to do in the digital realm, right? I do holiday cards, I do HomeBot, and I do some social media. So I do several things. Now, some of these aren't regular, right? If you're commenting on people's social media, for one, you're only commenting when they post something, right? And 2, not all of the people in your sphere are going to be on social media. They're not going to be on the platforms you're using. So I have several different digital ways that I connect. And I know that most people are going to be getting 2 usually a month. That's my goal. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking, right? If you just send out the holiday cards on email, well, not every single month has a holiday that's going to send one out. Some have 2. So it's not exact, but at least it's consistent, it's regular, and over a long period of time. Now for the tangible ways that you can reach out. The best tangible way that you can connect with your sphere regularly is a phone call. I'm going to say that again. The best way that you can reach your sphere is a phone call. Pick up the phone and call them regularly. What you can do is print up from your CRM or your list of everyone in your sphere, print it up, start at A, and just start going down until you get back to the beginning, right? And put in your calendar, I'm going to call 2 people a day. I'm going to call whatever it is. A lot of people don't like making phone calls. They think they're bothering people. What do you say? All right. Don't ask for business. Don't even talk about real estate until they ask you, and they will. They will. Just call them up. Maybe you saw something on social media. I love that. I stalk people a little on social media so that I have information to ask them about when I call them, right? Oh, hey, I just saw that you were in Baja. How was it? Should I go? It's about them asking questions, finding out information. Most of the time they're going to say, oh, how's your business going? Oh, it's great. Blah, blah. You can give them that information then, but don't start off with that. Handwritten notes, cards are fantastic. People love it. They're like, oh my God, I haven't gotten a physical birthday card in the mail since I was 10 or whatever. It really stands out to people. So it's very wonderful. It's great. Again, I'll print up articles. I'll send things of interest to people. When I have someone that's fairly close to me that's lost a pet, I'll do a donation in their name to like the Humane Society, and they get a little card from that. So something that they get in the mail is really, really nice. Pop buys. I love pop buys. A pop buy, if you're not familiar with it, it is a small item that you pop by someone's house and drop off. Typically, a pop buy is something that, not expensive, but it can be a fun seasonal related item that you then do a little tag on it that has a cute saying. If you go to, I can show you guys after if we have time here, but you can go like to Pinterest and just put in pop buys, and there's thousands of ideas, but they can be really fun things like handing out ice cream scoop and your little in the summer, and your little tag on it says something, if you want to know the scoop about real estate, call me, right? And then you just go to someone's house and you drop it off. You can, if you want to make best use of this, text them, hey, I'm just gonna pop something over. Is it okay to stop by, knock on their door, just say, hey, I just wanted to drop this off. Or if you don't like knocking on doors, you can just leave it on their front step and just text them, say, hey, I just dropped something off, you know, just wanted to give you a heads up, what have you. When there was that one big eclipse, I got those little glasses that you could watch the eclipse with, because they were all sold out all around here. Now, anything like this, think again, are you going to be able to be consistent and do it for a long period of time? I love pop buys, but I found I could not be consistent with them because so many of my sphere live really not right in Santa Rosa. Like I have one that's, you know, an hour up the road out of Cloverdale. You know, it ended up being too much of my time. I wasn't able to do it. But you can also do a small group of your sphere. Maybe it's the people that live in your city, or maybe it's your like top people, right? Once you have your sphere in a CRM or in something, you do want to sort them to like A, B, and C. And A is like the people that you've done business with, or you would do business, or have referred you, right? So maybe you just do Popeyes for that the smaller group, right? And not your Bs. Maybe there are people that, you know, you think would do business, what have you. We'll go more into that another day. All right, let's see where we are. We're getting low. We're getting down here on time. We can talk about the local business coupon another time. The BHG magazines. This is a fantastic automatic thing. If you have 1325 and you want someone to receive something in the mail 12 times a year with your branding on it, get the Better Homes and Gardens magazine. You could also do Shape and Parents and a whole bunch of different ones. Of course, BHG magazine is the most branded to you. If you buy the first 20 at one time, they'll do the label. You can do it. They'll do it specifically for you. Otherwise, it's a little more generic, but it's still nice. So anyways, those are really great. We talked already a lot about events, but here's just a few ideas like a movie night or bowling, barbecue. Fundraisers are great, right? Say, oh, I'm just going to have a wine and cheese event and it's going to be a fundraiser, or bring 5 cans of canned food, or it's going to be, you know, whatever it is, so that you're also, not only are we getting to talk and you know, and be together, but we're actually contributing to the community in some way. That's really powerful as well. Holiday parties, pie pickup. That's kind of a classic one that a lot of agents do, where they give pies out at Thanksgiving, and they drop off, or they have people pick up a pumpkin pie. So anyhow, anybody done any? Most of you guys are pretty new. Have done any events that are they want to talk about? All right, let me just kind of get through this. So that is some information on your sphere connection plan. That is the first spoke that I suggest you work on if you haven't already. Get your list of everyone you know, and then determine how, for a year, commit to the first year, how you're going to connect with everyone you know for that first year. Couple of digital, couple of tangible. Maybe give yourself a goal that, you know, in the spring, in 9 months or something, that you're going to have an event. I encourage you, I challenge you to have an event. So we talked about, again, this is a big piece of that complete sales cycle, right? You've got to get all of this as systematized as possible, so that once you fulfill and you've closed a transaction, you're putting that past client now into your sphere of connection plan. So now you have to sign them up for all the pieces, whatever it is you're doing, right? Do you send them that BHG magazine? Do you sign them up for HomeBot? Do you put them in the drip campaign? Whatever it is, you've got to make sure that they're getting into that plan. Same as, now we're going to go a little more into lead generation, which we only have 10 minutes. Once you're generating those leads and you're going into the nurture, you've got to make sure that some of those people are going to go automatically over into your connection plan as well, right? You want them to start receiving maybe a little more than just the lead nurturing. So just to kind of remind you of that whole sales cycle there. So it's really, when you're thinking about your sphere, it's really important that you stay in touch. Acquiring a new customer can cost 5 times more than retaining an existing customer or converting someone that you already know. All right, so say you want 1 client. To get that 1 client, you're going to have to spend 5 times as much, and I would say time, money, or energy, 5 times as much as getting someone, converting someone that you already know or that you've already worked with. All right, so it's really worth getting that really well established, your sphere connection plan really dialed in so it's happening consistently and automatically. Converting someone you know already has a success rate of 60 to 70%, whereas the success rate of converting a new contact is only 5 to 20%. So you can see, you really want to start with those people that you know. Make sure you're getting connected with them regularly so that there's no question that you're going to be the one that they call. All right. Any questions on the sphere connection plan? All right, once you have that all developed, I want you to think about what your other streams of business are going to be. Again, you can work on 1 or 2 of these while you're working on your sphere. Your sphere is going to be ongoing, right? You're going to be regularly reaching out. You're going to be regularly developing it and talking to people. But once you get that 12-month plan, then you can just simply implement your plan. So once you've got the plan, then you can think, okay, I'm implementing that plan. Now, what other spoke can I add to my streams of business? So here's some ideas. If you have been in the business for a little while, first thing I'd like you to do is take a moment to reflect on the last 1 to 3 years. Look at every transaction that you closed and write down where you first got that client. Were they a referral? Did you meet them in an open house? Did you, were they part of your geographic farm? Whatever it is, write it down so that you can better evaluate then when you're developing your spokes and how much time and energy to give towards each one. You can come in with an understanding of what's already worked, where to spend more time and energy, and maybe where to back off a little bit, right? So if you have been doing a geographic farm for 2 years and you've gotten 1 client, 1 closed transaction for it, maybe it's not worth your time and energy. Whereas if you've gotten 5, then it certainly is worth your time and energy. So you can just, knowing where they come from, by the time you close a transaction, you're going to sort of forget where you first met them. It's just not going to be as obvious to you. Whereas you're going to know it, but you just need to look at it so in that way so that you can better evaluate. All right, what are some ways to get business? Since we've only got about 7 minutes, I'm going to not do a brainstorming. I'm just going to pop into it. So we already talked about the sphere of influence. There's also your past clients. Those need to be added to your sphere connection plan each time. Another way to get business is referrals. We love our referrals. You can get referrals from your sphere, from out of area agents or out of area sphere members, from past clients, and one that can be very valuable that people don't think about is other vendors. So your plumber, your flooring guy, your tax accountant. I've gotten several referrals from my tax accountant. I've gotten referrals from my financial planner. There's quite a few, right? So make sure that you're including them on your sphere plan so that you are likely to get referrals from them, or more likely to get referrals from them. Okay, so this is where we're going to dive into the other streams of business, your other spokes, which are niches. Now, some people just consider a niche more of a branding thing, that you're going to go for a brand. But to me, a niche is any stream of business that you're going to focus on, put your time and energy and maybe some money behind so that you get business from that area. So, you know, a lot of people do first-time home buyers, or maybe just buyers or sellers. I suggest you narrow it down more than that, but that is a niche as well. I'm just going to throw out some ideas here. Horse properties, people going through probate. Some of these, like probate, you would want, there's more education. You can get certified as a probate specialist, right? That's something you'd want to do if you want to get into this. Another great niche, military. You could focus on for sale by owners, expired listings. Now, all of these we can dive a lot into, obviously. So if you are interested in adding one of these to your spokes, your streams of business, let me know and I can help you with developing a plan for these, because obviously we don't have time for all of them today. And there's so many. I mean, it's just really a never ending supply of ideas of different niches you can do. I'm just giving you a few ideas here. A geographic farm, that's a great one if you, especially if you don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing. You can walk a geographic farm and drop off flyers. You know, if you've got more time than money, then get out there and start dropping off a flyer at 150 homes every month, right? Getting something out there. You can also do postcard. There's a ton you can do. Take it way farther than that with a geographic farm. You can, you know, sponsor a garage sale. You can do the neighborhood, all the businesses in the neighborhood. There's so many things you can do with that. Other potential ones are like short sales and REOs, digital marketing. Maybe you want to focus on digital marketing ads and how you still need a niche for that, but that would be the way you're getting out there, getting your name out there. A leads group is great. It's hard to find a leads group that doesn't already have a real estate agent, but there's things like BNI, which is Business Networking International. Is that right? There's Latip. There's Partners for Leads. There's a bunch of different ones. Research it and see if you can find one without a realtor. They are fantastic. I've been in one for about 6 years. I've gotten a ton of business from them. What they are is you go every single week, and it's usually at breakfast or at lunch, and you have the same business people meet every single week. There's only one per business category, so there can only be one residential real estate agent, one commercial, one lender, but it's all other businesses that come together to support each other and increase each other's businesses, and you will get a ton of business from it if you can find one that doesn't have a real estate agent. Volunteering, so you could have a niche of, like I told you, I have in my niche, which is outdoor stuff, I volunteer at an outdoor organization and I get business that way. So there's a ton of wonderful volunteering you can do. Boys and Girls Club, the Seroptimus, there's Rotary, you know, there's so many things. Find something that really is a good fit for you, resonates with you, show up consistently, contribute, and you get business that way. Niches, gardening, cooking. I mean, it's just sort of runners, right? I mean, what else? Anybody have any ideas of other niches that you could put your energies towards? I don't think anybody wants to talk today. We're so short on time. All right, I'm going to pop forward. So niches, really, you're only limited by your own ideas. So if you want to come up with a niche, if you want to dive more into one of these, or you want to come up with your own niche, we could do a whole niche workshop. I think that'd be a great idea where, you know, we work together to create the marketing, everything, the way we're going to reach out to people in that niche. And it's going to be a little different for every niche, right? You're going to reach out to military folks different than you're going to reach out to your geographic farm. All right. All right, I'm gonna pop forward. Whoops. Hey, Kathleen, can you mute yourself? I see your cute.
Sorry.
No worries. Hey, there's a niche, animal lovers, right? I know someone that is extremely, extremely successful in real estate, and a huge part of her business, she goes to the local like humane society or what have you. She takes a video of one of the animals that needs a home, and she posts it on her Facebook. I think she does ads behind it, so she like really gets it out there. And she does a pet of the week that needs to be adopted, and she gets so much business that way. So many people know her because of that. So anyways, I love that. That was perfect timing. Okay.
Good idea.
So again, each of these spokes, whatever you decide to do, you need to be consistent, do it for a long period, create your system and automate it as much as you can. A lot of things can't be automated, but what you can, it's really worth the time and energy to set it up. Okay, that was the end of it. Goodness gracious. Feel like I just talked nonstop. Let me close that down, figure out how to make this big. Oops. Close that. It's not letting me close it. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Have a great
Perfect.
day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, you too.
Thank you, Heather.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I'm going to stick around here for a few minutes. Anyone have questions? I just know I don't like to go overtime and make you guys feel like you have to stay. But if anyone wants to chat about anything they learned today, or
So I'll say about my
questions or other
Rotary.
ideas, please, let's talk.
My
Uh-huh.
Rotary, I'm having committee meetings in our boardroom. So tomorrow night's our first one, and people are like, oh, where's your new office? So I'll do the board of directors there. Tomorrow we're doing a special one for a lobster feed. So we'll start getting people into the office. So there you go.
Oh yeah, so you're having the meetings at your office?
At the boardroom.
Yeah,
Yes.
awesome. That's
So there'll
great.
be 8 of
That's
us
great.
tomorrow. And then the third Monday of the month, we'll have our board of director meetings there. And I just put it out there,
Oh.
and then I get an email. Hey, can we do a meeting at Kathy's office? And I'm like, okay. And 'cause, so there you go.
That's great.
Because no one goes into the offices. So I want to get people
I know.
used to coming into the office.
Yeah, nice, nice. Mary Giblin in the Santa Rosa office, she used to be really involved with Boy Scouts. So they had their monthly, like the leadership meeting in the office. And, it was just great that people that, they have no doubt you're a real estate agent. So
There you go. There you go.
great, great.
So I thought I'd share
Absolutely.
that.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have any idea of a niche you really want to dive into, or any questions? I'm going to go ahead and turn off recording just so it's.
So have a great day.
All right. Thanks. You too. All right. Well, everybody have a great day. Cherie, how's things going?
Good. You just gave me some ideas I wrote down. I was actually thinking animals too. And I do some volunteering in my community a little bit. The only thing with the animals, it just makes me so sad to see animals that are in need, but
Oh my gosh. I can't even look on those sites. I'm like, I'll adopt every
Yeah.
single one.
no, and then we'd have too many cats, right? Yeah, or dogs or whatever. I have to work out that. Yeah, I'd have to definitely think about how I'd be able to do that.
Oh yeah. Well, I know that when they're posted online, they are so much more likely to find homes, and so,
That's
if you're
good.
helping with that, hopefully, because I hear
It
you.
helps with
That's
that,
hard.
right? Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Very good idea. I like that idea. You said your friend takes pictures of the one that or whatever needs to be adopted first or something, and then that's a really good idea. And then you're just on and you're.
Yeah, and they're not in this area, so it's not, there's
Right.
not, I don't know if there's somebody doing it already, but not that I know of.
Yeah, it sounds like we're all kind of like in a different area almost around.
Uh-huh.
I live in Glen Ellen and just, yeah. But who doesn't need more help with taking care of animals anyway? It's like,
Oh, right, for sure. Yeah.
I tried to
Yeah.
bring my cat to the vet 2 weekends ago, and they
Yeah.
said there's such a shortage of did you hear about that? The vets and
Oh, yeah.
they couldn't get, I had to go to, I was at the right next to the Richmond Bridge to an emergency clinic just because I couldn't find a clinic. I
It's
mean, I
horrible.
was just astounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really
Yep.
concerning.
Yep. Yeah, it's really bad. And I guess it's been so stressful through the pandemic because so many people got pets and they were so,
Right.
you know, that like nobody even wants to do it. Be a vet.
That's what I heard. They burned out. One text said they burn out, but that's just my opinion. And I thought, she's probably right.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I don't
Yep.
know.
for sure.
Maybe there's something I could do to help that. I don't know how,
Right.
but just helping animals. So you're definitely, actually talking it out a little bit does help, but it's Monday,
Uh-huh.
so I'm sure no one wanted to do that, but.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well,
Thank you.
yeah. Have you connected with Parmita or anything yet?
No, I don't have, let's see, I know that I wasn't able to connect with her because of.
Right, you weren't there. I'll send her
Yeah.
your info and ask her to reach out to you.
Okay, that's cool. And then if, it would be nice if there was somebody that was kind of more local in Sonoma or Santa Rosa, but. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
what-
yeah. Yeah, Parmita's Petaluma and sometimes Santa Rosa, and then, I don't know we don't have anybody that's it's Sonoma right now, which is silly because there's a lot of really experienced agents. I think Randy is asking right now around for somebody in Sonoma that would be a good fit. So we're
Really,
working
that's
on it.
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm actually a lot of, when you said you're a happy person and you don't like people with the stress thing that kind of portrays on you, and that's exactly, I was like, oh wait, I need to point that out. That's my personality. Yeah, I just, just
Yeah.
a little bit more, hopefully there's someone like, I know a lot of people are, like you said, different approaches, but,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
I don't know if they do online training anyway, or mentoring.
Yeah, everyone's a little different how they, how they do things. Just, usually usually it's just like it's two people just figure out the schedule. Like, maybe meet occasionally in person, sometimes online, and just kind of whatever works. Yeah.
I like that.
Cool.
And then if you can think of anybody, I just thought of this as you were going through your session, that if there was somebody that was experienced in for sale by owners, I have a sort of lead-ish situation where I've been trying to get my process started with starting up as an agent so that I can find somebody to help me with that. And so that would be the first place I would be starting, is that I know somebody who is a for sale by owner, and they may, if I'm not interested in buying it, then I might just want to list it, and I don't know, and they're 88 years old, and so I don't know if there's someone, a mentor that would be experienced, because that might be my first niche, is elderly people with for sale by owner. I was thinking there was somebody that's kind of really specific though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know anybody that does a ton of for sale by owner, just because there's not a ton out there in this area. I don't know why, but there's some really good online resources for that.
Okay.
I looked into that a little bit myself and then just didn't end up trying to think if I can think of the guy that there was, like, he does webinars and stuff. He's just he's just like an
Online guy.
online guy. Yeah. Maybe just search that,
Okay.
and find someone that's I mean, you can even do it on YouTube, because a lot of people have stuff out on YouTube nowadays, but yeah, I would do that probably.
Okay.
Yeah. The main thing
Okay.
with for sale by owners is that you have to show your value, right? Why they would want to bother paying for something they think they can do themselves. So it's really, giving information about what other homes have sold for. Giving, oh, don't, just want to make sure, happy to answer questions if you have questions about the contracts or whatever, so that people don't realize how many contracts and how much, how that, all that stuff, maybe do a little thing on disclosures, right? How to protect yourself when selling a home and meeting the the state requirements for disclosure. So, something, so they're like, oh, I didn't even know I had to do that. And that's scary or whatever. So.
Yeah, like if it was if they didn't disclose something and then sold it and then somebody came back out later, that would be a big problem, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. That's the main
Biggest.
litigation that happens. And
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, they're 88 years old and they're European, and it's I'm meeting with them on the 29th of July.
Oh, about possibly buying the house.
Buying or listing. If you don't love
Okay.
it, list it, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I've been talking to them for a while now, and they just they're just too old. They said, please come with me with I was going to be forthcoming with the questions list before I met with them, because it takes them that long to be able to process the questions.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little tricky.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least you have an appointment. That's the first step. Yeah. We should be able to get you hooked up with a mentor before then, and they can help you prepare for that.
That'd be awesome. And I don't know if that helped, but I remembered I needed to tell you that. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.